pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions or amendments to the agenda? Mr. Sorry, sorry, thank you.
Yep.
Delmas, I apologize. Delmas is asked to lead us in prayer, and here we go. I'm sorry, sir.
Father, we come to you in humility, thanking you for your many blessings. Lord, grant peace on this Baldwin city. Guide the meeting tonight. Keep your protection on our leaders, our fighters, Sugar and Sheriff's Department, Public Works, and all ways in the work of the city. Our Father, which art in
Heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Deliver us from evil.
Glory forever. Thank you, sir. All right, now, is there any additions or amendments to the agenda? Mr. Walker,
Nothing for me.
Mr. Rush.
Yeah, I got two, Mr. Mayor. Under new business, letter G, EMT assistance for the fire department for Elk River landfill.
Okay,
And then letter E, I'd like to discuss this, this muck on this homeowner's property. This sledge,
letter E in new business?
under the road,
Oh, okay.
or D, I'm sorry, D.
Excavating it, wait a minute.
Is that what we have, is D?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, D. There was an email today about some muck on Hunter Street.
Okay, which, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time finding, not in table items, under road report?
Yeah, I want to add under letter
Add
D.
Okay,
Sorry.
add D, all right,
Yep.
okay, no problem. What is it?
Discuss the muck on Hunter Street at a homeowner's residence.
Okay,
Thank you, that's all I have.
Mr. Holm?
Nothing.
Mr. Gates?
Just a question on table items under A there. Mine got a big deal of the pension thing on it.
It didn't happen on this, but when I printed the agenda for you guys, it got on there. and I
Oh,
didn't-
so did we just ignore it?
I'll call that whole thing a typo on the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I go, okay, I'm not sure what we were talking about there.
I thought you were bringing us something big.
No, I'm looking at this and I'm going, what's that about?
What are we crossing out here?
This whole.
This chart,
Oh, I don't have
Come
that.
on, yours,
you don't have it?
Chart.
Oh.
No,
Yes?
I got a special one.
Okay, all right, anything else, Mr. Gates?
No,
All right, need a motion to approve the amended agenda. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
For the month of June, we have a beginning balance of $318,439.62. Receipts of $723,814.97. Disbursements of $183,455.50, leaving unaudited ending balance of $858,799.09.
Joe, any questions for the treasurer? Hearing none, public comment requests. Joan, were there any submitted?
There's none.
All righty, approval of the consent agenda. Approve all as is, or? What would you like to do?
I'll make a motion to approve the whole consent agenda, and then the last one, if we can send out a letter to Bill for his services.
Definitely.
I'll second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Engineering, discuss project management for Sandy Lake, and the bid, Mr. Rush.
Yeah, so this one, we approved the bid last week, or last meeting, excuse me. But Bogart Peterson, did the plans for soil water conservation. So the question is, when we go out to bid, I think the information was sent to us by, Francine, for soil water conservation. But we go out for bid, who's gonna manage the project, I guess? Is it gonna be, because Matt Kind already looked at this cartoon, I believe, last fall, the drawing. So we already,
How deep have you guys gotten into that?
So I discussed with Shane, well, first off, in regards to, I know we had talked on the phone.
Yeah.
In regards to just maybe us inspecting it and looking into a price for that. It sounds like based off the email chain I have been in, then they haven't selected a contractor yet. One hasn't been
We
picked.
haven't gone out for bids.
Well, it's hard to get a price in that regards from us, just cause we have to ask them their timeline and schedule, cause then we can plan how many hours for our guys if we are. But as this matter of a whole, I discussed with Shane with this earlier, or later last week, and if the city's open to it, we believe it'd be a lot more, it'd create a lot less problems, be a lot more cost effective if Bogart handled all the bidding processes and then even the inspection. They're the ones that design the plans and specs, they know the ins and outs of them. Especially during the bidding process, there's gonna be a lot of questions from contractors, and if they're coming to us, we may not be able to answer all of them, so that's just more time for us to reach out to Bogart to get the question, to call the contractor back. Kinda just makes us a middleman when maybe, that wouldn't take more hours of our time, money for the city. And then again, same with inspecting. We can send a guy out there, but if a contractor has questions, we'll answer to the best of our ability, but ultimately it might result in us, again, reaching out to Bogart and getting a final answer from them on something. As well as surveying too, I imagine Bogart's gonna be doing the construction surveying and all that for this job. They'd have a lot better, an inspector for them would have a lot better contact with their survey department, getting information. And just getting simple elevations on stuff if needed out in the field. That was kind of our 2 cents on the deal. If the city wanted us to continue to look into it.
so that's why I brought it up, just,
That is the perfect answer as far as I'm concerned.
Cool.
I totally agree with that. The
Yeah.
question was, my question for you was gonna be, do you really wanna manage somebody else's project?
Yeah.
Somebody else's design, I totally understand.
Yep, for sure. And that's kind of the conclusion Shane and I
So
came.
Tom, would you wanna reach out to Bogart and Peterson and see if they want to manage that? Yeah, Francine, talk to them?
yep. And they're gonna go out for the bid, right?
Yeah, if they could handle, typically that's pretty normal for them to handle the bid process.
When that email came by, I said, yeah, send all the bidding, all that stuff to us. You know what I mean? 'Cause we hadn't had this conversation.
Yeah,
yet.
exactly.
Somebody was.
Yeah.
Looks good. So, letter B, discuss, approve, disapprove, clear and grub quotes, 100th Street and 297th.
Yeah, well, at this point, I don't know what, how many signatures, but, I think we've only got 15.
We are now up to 18, because you got another one today. I thought we were at 17 before. I think we're down to 18.
So my question is, I know some people, before we cut, some people are concerned about getting reimbursement for trees. And all the road projects we handle, we've never done that before. They're getting a free road, in my opinion, so, I'm not for that. But, I don't wanna start cutting trees down. If we don't have all the easements yet, and I don't know, is 297th? Is there a mixture of how many we
Oh,
got?
I
on-
did not do that analysis, how many from one street versus another. I've just been looking at it, and there was like 72 easements or something
yes.
like that, and we've only got like around 18 of them.
Correct.
And some of those aren't signed yet. Those are ones that we're working with the property owner to make changes to and stuff, but at least they have reached out back to us and tried to work with. Some people, one person said, my husband passed away, so we tried to change that, things like those things. But we don't have that many compared to where we were. And that's gonna be something that the council's gonna have to discuss. And that's probably a different meeting other than tonight about where do we go with this, because we're gonna have to start the eminent domain process. And if we do eminent domain, we may gonna have to pay for fences and tree, fence relocation, tree removal. Statute requires that you pay.
Bob, I mean, I know, I totally agree that it's a different meeting, but my approach is if we don't get the easements on the 100th Street, then we move on to a different road.
I know, and that's a discussion that.
That's my opinion.
I know,
I'm
and
not
that's.
paying for anything, they're getting a free road, and if they don't wanna get signatures, there's other roads out here that, 305th, this road, there's a lot of roads that need repair, so that's my.
I understand, and that is a decision the council is going to have, because the engineering, is going to need that direction from you guys before they pivot and move to a different project. And maybe this one, I don't know why we're not, it's unusual, because most of the projects that I have worked on, I've always had very good success with people coming in and giving us the easement and stuff, and most of it is just trying to chase the last few remaining people, and they're not opposed to it, they haven't been around, they were on vacation, you have to kind of track them down. This one, we're not getting a response at all, so maybe it is premature to do this.
Well,
one.
is there something we could do? We could have our internal staff, Joan and Caleb, start giving, can we get a list of the addresses, whatever, and they can start calling?
Calling, knocking on doors, I mean,
Just so that we, can get some kind of an idea where people are at. 'Cause
Right,
Right
if-
now, we don't know if they're for it, against it, or just haven't gotten in contact with you guys yet,
right.
And, I don't disagree with Mr. Rush in the fact that, if we aren't gonna get this, going or together this year, then we need to start setting our sights on something else. If we, 10 years from now, get back to 100th Street, well, I guess that is what it is. This also too, and I don't know if we put on here, I didn't know, maybe we did, but have another meeting with you guys too, about MSA funding. You know what I mean? Because what we're running into here now with the roads that we're calling MSA roads, they're gonna need such massive reconstruction in order to quote, bring them up to the standards of what MSA requires. I was not under the understanding that, this massivity, for lack of a better word, if that even is a word, you know what I mean, was gonna have to happen on these roads to be able to do something. You know what I mean? When we look at like 112th Street and 283rd, when we redid those, you know what I mean? Those are phenomenal collector streets, but they're not nearly to the scale of this. And I think just about all of the roads that we identified as collector streets, you know what I mean, are gonna be about in the same shape, if you will, or at least with the same needs moving forward. You know what I mean? Which is monster reconstruction. So my question becomes, where's the MSA dollars really gonna help us? Because if we keep running, literally, so we know that it's about 4M is what a rough estimate for this project. Well, if we do that and we use the MSA funding, whatever, to cover the cost of that and cover the loan on that, then we're gonna pay that about down to nothing. You know what I mean? Before we start thinking about taking on the next project. It's the only way we can do it in a budget, And if we began to assess, which is a possible way to do this, where we can accrue the debt now, this particular process, if it really is 4M divided by 40% of that, let's just say, divided by 74 people, whatnot, that's about $19,000 a home. So, divided by 10, that's still a big number. That's $2,000 a year or whatever to assess their taxes. That just we have never done before. That's a big number. So I would like to have, and tonight maybe is not, we're getting off topic here, but those are topics of discussion.
The first step is the more outreach from this
I agree.
body.
Oh, I agree. We're very deep into 100th Street and 297 at this point.
And I would say that the project is not gonna happen 2025.
Correct.
Mr. Mayor,
So we'll just use the rest of the summer to try to see if we can't get the signatures to move forward and maybe, grub in the fall, winter.
I was just gonna say, the item in front of us is the tree clearing, so let's just take care of that.
Well, and what I'm gonna say about that is I don't think we're at the point
No.
of doing.
No, and that's, we could get this out of the way pretty quickly here, I think.
So I think what we'll do is disapprove of any of the quotes at this point. Ready to do it.
Bob, if you would send us any contact information you have, I know Kathy has a lot of it, but if you have
She's on
phone
vac-
numbers or,
She's on vacation this week, and I don't know how to access all the stuff on her computer, but I can work, unless Mike has it, I'll see what I can get you tomorrow and give you a call and let you know where we're at. We do have spreadsheets, and we do have a spreadsheet of things, and Mike has been updating that. I'm not real good with the computer stuff, but
Help bail a lawyer out, will you?
yeah, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, do you want to table this till fall?
Well, I think that right now, do we have quotes? Did we go out for quotes? I don't know if we did or not. I don't-
No, nothing yet.
So yes, then let's table this. Let's see, let's discuss this. If it comes up, next month because everything fell into place, whatever, then great.
My 2 cents would be is, we really can't even do it, I don't think, unless we.
We wouldn't
That's
even know.
what I was gonna say.
Right, and we
So you
can't
get the
go on
easements,
anybody's
why we
property
even,
without permission, so.
shouldn't even be bothering with it.
Let's table this to the
September.
first meeting, and I was gonna say August.
Okay,
Have the summer to live with it.
I'll second that, if it's your motion.
All right, that's a motion. Further discussion, that's to table this until August.
So can I just clarify for this project, because this project hasn't been tabled yet, but it may be heading that way. You want my office to communicate with Joan who we've gotten materials from, who we're working with, and give her a status update, and then she can then use her discretion in contacting people? Is that?
Correct, the homeowners, at least to find out where they stand. You know what I mean? So we get a better idea. I mean, literally, if you do have 18, if all the rest of them are absolutely not, we want nothing to do with it. Let's think about something else until.
Well, and also if we've got a growing cluster on 297th that are for it,
Correct.
then we can
I
kind
think
of
about doing that part of it, yes.
target the rest of them on that street and then dangle that to the other street going, look, these guys are gonna get a road. You're not.
Will be what it'll be.
Okay,
Clear as mud?
yep, I got it. I'll
Motion
work
is
with
second
Joan.
to table. Anything else, Joan? Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discuss, disapprove, disapprove, no loss application and excavate 278th, the northwest culvert.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. This item was determined, I believe, in the late April meeting for us to get the okay to do a delineation in the 278th culvert area and the 123rd, 123rd Street culvert area. So this report is just determining our findings on the delineations, as well as towards the end on it, we put together our no loss application, which is kind of the next step for you to sign, hopefully, and approve tonight. Just the work that we would propose to get that excavation done that we approved at the meeting back in April. We kind of went out there, took some measurements, and there's an exhibit towards the end, but we think it about, if we get 6 feet wide at the end of the culvert, about 55 feet back, kind of just clean it up. That's what we were proposing the work to be at least, so. Just the next step with this would be to get it approved and then off to proper agencies for review.
Alrighty, what are the wishes of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the no loss application for 278th.
I second that.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, letter D, discuss Hawkinson Anderson memo regarding excavation at 123rd Street culvert.
Yeah, so I just, thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. We had done the delineation on 123rd because I know there's been interest on trying to do some excavation near that culvert as well. So we had Nikki, our wetland specialist, look into it more, and she provided us with this memo on her findings. And essentially it's coming down to, this one's a little different case in which excavating that area will impact that wetland. We kind of looked through historical photos and it's hard to tell what previously was there before, and without, you know, hard construction plan documents that show that maybe that was more of a defined ditch back when, it's hard for us to be able to apply for any kind of easy application to make that excavation work. Unless the city has any historical information that they would maybe be able to find.
Okay, on that, there is north of that. Let's see here, so we were talking about, I don't know if anybody can see this, I don't have. Okay, so down here, we're talking about 123rd, that is this. There's also this over here, remember I said go up to the end of there, there's another cul-de-sac right here. And there is some flowage, drainage that actually comes through here, that flows through there, that actually feeds this, that does that. Follow me? Doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think you follow me. So, and some years ago, we actually had that where we were getting the same thing from the county saying, no, the guy was getting flooded out, and this was a relatively new thing, if you will. And so the question had become, was that holding pond that was actually dammed up, it actually had some posts and a damn couple of 2x8s, you know what I mean, making a dam. I said we couldn't do anything. John Bogart, whatever, went and took and looked at that and found some pictures from like 1968, or even earlier possibly, whatever, and found the puddles that were there were this big. Then pictures of today, they were much larger. And then the county says, yep, no problem, go ahead, take the top board off of the dam, if you will, and you can lower that. His flooding issues went away. I know every ounce of that water had to come through what we're talking about here now today. So I wonder if it's a way, if you have the ability to talk to Bogart Peterson and see if he knows what that is. I'm not unaware of what he was able to do. He was part of the TEP panel, I think John was himself for a bunch of years. That helped a bunch as well. Anyway, and it was proved, at least at that point, that yes, this all was much smaller at one time than it seems to be today. Is that something you could?
Yeah, I can definitely reach out to Bogart Peterson and get some more information. I believe that we are the LGU, so we would kind of have to put it together, eventually send it off to the TEB. So I can reach out to them.
And I would expect that as well, that you
Yeah.
guys would be doing that as well. You know what I mean? But if Bogart has some information we could use, that'll help.
Yeah, maybe they have the
But
plan.
there,
Literally all we're talking about is a track hole
Yeah.
reaching out,
Yep.
one scoop, 6 inches
Yeah.
deep, what, 24-inch wide bucket? That is it.
would
That's it.
would there be historically stored somewhere? You said that this happened already in documents, there would be a record somewhere under government data, act, we should be able to obtain those. Do you know, does like the TEP panel keep records, historical records like that? And if we could find, at least from John Bogart, a time frame, we might be able to locate those original documents. Nowadays with scanners, I would imagine more of these documents are probably historically available.
That was over a decade ago or more, right?
John's been retired for a while now. so-
Yeah. He has, it's gotta be at least 10 years ago, yeah. Anyway, just something to help,
Yeah,
because
no.
I hate to get stung. All we're asking at this point in time is to clean that out, because it's
Yeah.
obvious, at least to me, when I look at it, I think it's obvious that there's sediment has built up on the inlet of that culvert, and that is raising the water level behind it.
Yeah, and definitely we get where that's coming from. But hopefully maybe Bogart does have some information that could help us, but without any, construction plans would almost be the golden ticket to see when that development was put in, what was the design intent. If it proves in our favor, then yeah, definitely we would have a much better argument. Being able to do that work.
Wasn't it ruining that cul-de-sac?
Yes. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember a time frame?
Well, it was on the board, and it was only on the board 2 other times, so we could narrow it down to 2-3 year periods.
Well, that helps, it does help.
John is retired though, Bogart?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
John
retired.
is. Dan, his son, he works there. He'll.
Oh, sure.
Dan Bogart.
He'll be able to get a hold.
John's pretty easy to work with.
Oh, yes.
I guess I was told the county Sherburne County kinda used to hold a lot of records too for Baldwin. Do you think they would?
Yes, they should have pretty much everything that happened while they were doing the zoning, for sure.
We were wondering if they would maybe have some documents that could be.
Well, I mean, you could pull right off of the GIS, you can pull the actual plats for that subdivision. So then you could see the actual
Yeah, we can get
drawing, well, at least you know what cause there was something already there and they've altered it when they put the plat in to help.
Yeah.
Cause even that that upper road up there, isn't that all kinda wonky? Underneath where that water's running?
Correct.
There's always been heaves there, Zach?
Yes, sir, west side of, 122nd Street as it goes down.
Oh.
Is that, enough for at least now to keep you going?
Yeah,
At least
definitely
send down an avenue?
gives us another clue to follow.
Excellent. All right, let's move on then. Discuss updates on work completed on 285th Avenue curb and 305th Avenue culverts. We did you guys see that email from Christy Miller?
Yes.
Oh, no, she's absolutely tickled pink with the contractor.
Oh, really?
Nicest guy she ever met. Fed him cookies. Apparently the neighbor didn't get a letter for whatever reason. I don't know. A neighbor.
Yeah, so I had, for some reason, the first letter didn't reach the one neighbor. I had, Mrs. Miller's email, so I emailed it to her. So that's why she got it, I think. But then I did, so they had to move their timeline back about a week. So I was able to get a new letter and I physically delivered them myself to the Miss Miller again. Excellent. She said she got that letter and the old one the same day, so she was confused on. She ended up calling me with some questions, so.
Mr. Mayor, we did get a good compliments there. Is there gonna be like erosion control, like any seed put down there?
Yep, so I just spoke with Nate with 10 Old Concrete earlier today, and that's kind of the last thing he's gotta do.
Okay,
He's
great.
got the topsoil in place, he just needs to get it restored now, put the seed in, and,
Okay, great.
yeah, so that one's, and then so that one's close to wrapped up, and the 305th is pretty much wrapped up. I just went out before this and kinda took some quantities, so I'm gonna match those with the invoice, so I'm gonna match up the quantities with what I measured with what they have on the invoice.
Yeah, I drove by that as well, so it did look very,
Yeah.
West Branch did a great
Did a
job
very
there
good job.
in Rum River. No,
Yeah, Paul was great to work with, yeah.
Okay, discuss, approve, disapprove, quotes for crack sealing and construction management. Mr. Rush.
yeah, we had some bids, we had 5 contractors, and there's quite a bit of range there. In there, but I think, is it Seal Pros out of, Hopkins, thank you, yes.
Yeah, so we actually received the lowest from Seal Pros. They were at $150,054, and they were the cheapest. No one at my office had worked with them before, so we asked that they provided a few references before we drafted our proposal letter. And I got contacts from Brooklyn Park and Eden Prairie that they'd recently done road jobs for, and both references checked out well. They were very pleased with the work they did and satisfied, so I don't see why we wouldn't go with them based off that standpoint. And yeah, so that would be our recommendation, that council approves with Seal Pro.
And then, Mr. Mayor, real quick on that, managing that process, I probably would take that in-house.
Okay.
Sure. Is my recommendation. Have Zach manage it, cause I like to run with this going forward. And this thing, one thing, me and Al were talking about, we didn't call out, but for next time, and Zach, I think, did too, on this. We had we had 2 products, so we could have used like 1 crew instead of 2. You know, it would have saved the overall cost, for the rubber down there. The running 2 crews versus if you just have 1 to save cost and mobilization. That's something we think about for the future bid there.
What are the wishes of the council on the quote?
First, which one to approve out of the? I'll make a motion to, approve the Stone Pros LLC doing business as Seal Pro for $150,054.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, can I have one quick question?
Yes, you may.
Sam, did they give us a ballpark of when they can start?
Nope, so you know, I don't get too anxious with that question until we get it approved through council.
Okay.
Now that we got it approved. And just so you guys know, we have contracts now that we will send off to them to get the proper signatures, and then we will then get that to the city for your signatures, and then it's officially.
You need to look at that, or are you good?
Typically, we've looked at Hawkinson Anderson contracts in the past. Unless there's something changed in there, we typically don't need to see it. Shane usually doesn't send them back over to us. If there is a modification or something, yes, I would like to see anything.
So I would make a motion then, if there are changes, to send it to
Yeah.
once over. If there are no changes, if it's your standard contract, then I don't.
Yeah, because historically they haven't, and we haven't had a problem. And so far, every time there has been an issue with other communities, and so far we haven't, the contracts have all held up, so we.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Excellent. Anything else under engineering, sir?
Well, Mr. Chair, or Mayor, you didn't do anything, we haven't done anything with this, proposal for management, other than Tom said he'd like to do it in-house. But the council hasn't discussed it or voted or done anything with it. They gave us a proposal, so I just think we either formally do something with it.
Management observation. What are the wishes of the council? Like to keep it in-house, correct? Right? You'd like
Yeah,
to-
that would be,
What would be the pros and cons of doing that, I guess, Sam?
Yeah, so in our experience typically, it's pretty normal for the public works employees within the cities to manage these maintenance items. And they really don't even need to, it's typical for them not to even spend all day out there. Each morning out there for an hour or so, check up on them, make sure they're kind of seeing what they like to see, maybe check on some of the past work. And if they get the time, maybe swing out there one more time throughout the day. In our experience, it's usually not someone you need to, the public works employees like to just check up on them throughout the day. But, so if we were to do it full-time, that is the price we provide. So,
$8,000 a week. For that kind of project, it seems like a lot. You don't have any, like,
Yeah, I mean-
you don't have any flunkies in the office for a quarter of that?
It's,
You can't send Shane out?
yeah, oh gosh, yeah. That'd be even more then.
I mean, I could see where, you know, we're doing like a 100th Street project or something, and you got somebody watching grabbing tickets and, you know, making observations, but
And that's where,
where it's a little heavy price, I'm just giving you feedback for that kind of project.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
which is understandable, and another aspect of that is that, you know, when city can do it, they're a lot closer than we are.
Yep.
So,
So I'll make a motion to disapprove the, proposal from Hawkinson Anderson for management of the crack ceiling project. And in my motion, I include that we'll just do it in-house with Zach.
I'll second that.
Second, there's a second.
But thank you for
yeah.
submitting that.
My only reason to say that the $8,000 would be significant but worth it is the fact that if something is missed, you know, and if something does go awry, even though we thought we checked it as much as we thought we should, you know, we really don't have anybody but us to go back on to say, well, we should have known better.
I believe though, after the fact, we could have you here hourly to at least just, if we have a concern about something, we'd be able to have you come on your hourly basis to come and take a look at it, to give an opinion, to say, yeah, this doesn't look right, if we don't even, you know, or it looks fine, don't worry about it.
We'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whether it be me or Shane, if we gotta stop out here and check spots that may be questionable.
Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Good call, Mr. Lynn. Okay, Frontier Trails update. I do have this, here, actually, I have this one in front of me. Okay, the wastewater facility continues to run well, just the usual maintenance needed. Let's see here, in revenues, we took in $3,928 this particular month, and we spent, $2,761. So, what that's telling us is that, we are gaining on it. In other words, the utility bills are beginning, we're starting to see, number one, the balance we gave and the loan is helping, but the month to month now, where the utility bills are starting to encroach on gaining on that. We're budgeting, when we get back to the next budget meeting, and we start talking about Frontier Trails, we can look at that knowing that we're probably gonna have to increase that. The utility bill, or the utility fee, we're probably gonna have to increase that, but this month it is going in the right direction. The full balance that is in the account, I don't know that we have that on this particular sheet here that I can look at, but.
Sewer fund here?
But it's in here, yeah. I'm saying on this to do a direct comparison. So we'd have to see where we're going, because I know we've had some pretty great expenses that have come through to follow that. These kind of things, but at any rate, that's the update.
Mayor, one more thing, when was the deadline for the RFP? I can remember.
July 1st.
Okay.
So that was, I think, Mr. Gwynn is talking about, he wants to be done in July, wants to be moved forward, or at least out of this, or close to it by that time. And so July 1 will be that possible, and we can interview these people, or get the RFPs.
Okay, thank you.
All righty, road report, Mr. Rush. Discuss public works report.
Yeah, did you guys all, do you have it? Okay. So, pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if Zach wants to say anything. Frontier Trails. A lot of time out there, 16.5 hours. Catching up with all the parks mowing, with all the rain there. Was it Arc Irrigation came out there and fertilized and treated all the trails, blocked that off like they do yearly. Also, the guys built a little contraption around the pump shed in there to protect the well, because that mound from the PYSBA is pretty big, so it won't crack that well. So they built that. Then the docks were all installed. Roads, a lot of hot patch. We've been getting a lot of complaints on there for the potholes and drainage issues, so they've been out there busy doing all that. We're also gonna work on Southern Pines in the North Elk Lake Loop there. Cemetery, they're helping Lester locating plots, as Zach's gonna transition into that role and Lester decides to, step down on that. And then that's about it. A lot of repairs on the lawnmowers. 2 of them broke down. So, if you have any questions, I probably, if you have questions, right there, he's in the corner, if you have any.
Have you done road patching on 100th Street and 297th?
Most of them 100, we were, hoping to get to 297.
Okay, cause I hadn't been on it for a week, but I know on the far north end, there was getting to be some holes there close to the intersection that were troublesome for braking. Got some neighbors in the area there that don't wanna be replacing struts on their red pickups.
So is this the same one?
Alrighty, letter B, discuss failed driveway for PID 01-00594-0120. Is that on 126th Street?
Which one it is?
285th. Yeah.
85th. So this one's failed 3 times. This one. Originally, it was back in December 29th of 2022. got the information, and, it was inspected, 2 more times. And Joe, what was the last one you said? It was in May?
Yep, May
Second?
19, 2025.
Yep. And it failed again.
Yeah, I did that inspection, I have my report.
So do you wanna add,
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was it wasn't even paved yet, so I know that's kind of one of the more recent ordinances, that it should be paved out to right of way, so that was kind of the one major thing I flagged.
cause yeah, we did grandfather those in, I think it was sometime in April, I can't remember if it was, I think it was 2023. We grandfathered, anything from prior to that was grandfathered in, anything after had to be paved. But, the slopes on here, I think you marked, we're not 4-1.
Yeah, right.
And the driveway is less than 16 feet. So I just wanted to bring this up, if you,
Less than 16 feet wide?
driveway width less than 16 feet is checked here, if you want to.
Oh, no, I believe you. I mean, do we care? Of all, you know what I mean? If they wanna drive down a skinny driveway, do we care?
Yeah, it's just an ordinance within the city, that's why I flag it, so
Yeah.
whether it's something city.
I mean, I think that's, especially as long ago as it was. But the paving, that needs to happen. Where do we wanna go?
Oh, Jay, the paving, it didn't need to be.
Did not need to be paved?
Well, no, this was,
Okay, so-
he applied for it in December 29, 2022. So he was grandfathered in, but just the slopes and the driveway width didn't meet our standards. And it's been inspected 3 times and it's failed, so I just wanted to bring it up to the
I
board.
will say, at least on that stretch of road, we haven't reconstructed that road. And there are existing driveways that also do not meet today's standards. So it's not as if that road was perfect and this one is now standing out amongst the others. So how big of an issue do we want to make here? I don't know.
How far off are the slopes?
It was good for the most part, apart from where the culvert is. It was pretty steep down the culvert, so they would just need to bring in some material. Worst case, even maybe extend the culvert out. It was a pretty significant little drop off there. I don't know if any work has been done since then, so.
And the reason I brought it up is because the girls have a spreadsheet of the driveways that have failed. And this one has failed 3 times, so that's why I brought it to city council. What do you guys want to do with it? Because I'm not gonna make that decision without.
No, I'd say we send them a letter. Have we sent them a letter saying this is what we need to change, or this is what needs to be brought up to snuff? Because the width, I don't think we need to beat them up on the width.
They've received all them notices, and we've also contacted them by phone to ask them if them corrections have been done, and they stated yes.
They think they fixed it, and you have not been out since they've
No,
said
I
yes?
haven't been notified that any.
When was that they thought said told you that?
May 22nd?
Yep, so I mean, even each time we've,
Even though he says it's been fixed, we go out there and it's not.
But he was out there, May is pretty recent.
yes.
So I don't think that there's anything.
We
done
did
since.
contact them prior to that and told them, asked them if it was ready to be inspected. And they did state that, that it was ready.
And this is a builder. This is Warzel.
I'm in contact with the homeowner.
Nick.
Oh, so it's been sold. As
He
is.
called you May 22nd?
Yeah, they followed up with them on May 22nd.
And he said, because the inspection was on the 19th, so it was 3 days before.
The inspection happened 3 days before that was ready.
Yeah,
So you've
but-
not been out since.
I did not know they
We
had.
want to send them out again if it fails, or
Yes.
We mail this to them though. They get this notice.
that's up there.
Yep.
It's all over.
Yeah, I'll be in the area this week, so I can certainly swing out.
So the builder put this in, didn't get it done right. Now the homeowner is getting the letters from us and the builder's off the hook. Kind of a sucky deal.
Absolutely.
And it really is.
And that builder was Warzel,
Yes.
a former attorney or attorney/real estate developer.
Do it wrong better.
And if they are grandfathered in for the paving and.
Yeah, that
And
they-
council is okay with the width, then it really is, it's pretty minor, just topsoiling. They probably gotta fix something.
Would it be better for Zach to take some pics and send them to you, or do you want to physically go out there?
I want you to physically. go
Yeah,
out
like
and
I
see
said,
what
I'll
you
be
saw.
in the area this week, so I can.
Okay.
It also might help if this property owner is cooperative to tell him what he needs to do. I
Sure.
mean, not just that you failed, but you need to do X, and we want you to do it by this date, you know?
So for future reference, everything in 23 and newer has to have.
Yeah, April of 2023, it has to be paved 33 feet from the road. Anything prior to that, we grandfathered in for paving only.
What about in the cases where we don't have the right of way? Let's just say somebody that lives on 100th Street now puts a second driveway in and we haven't got our right of way we're trying to buy, and we only have our by prescription there. Where are we, how far are we supposed to go from the center line?
To the prescriptive right away, correct?
Then we'd have to identify that at that
We'd
time.
have to identify it based on our historic use and maintenance of the road.
Just to throw a little mud in the water here.
Yeah, no, but that's how it would work on any road, and then if we acquire additional road right-of-way officially, well, then that may change things, but somebody else, if they already have a driveway permit, would be grandfathered.
But when we do the project, and we have and we say it goes through and we have an 80-foot, what are we gonna do our aprons to? We're gonna go stick with the,
Right away,
to the right, so now it'll be 40 foot from the center on that road.
yes.
Okay.
That's the only way to transfer it through everything we have and be.
I'll just ask for clarification.
Alrighty. We good on that? That failed driveway?
He is good.
Discuss, approve, disapprove road maintenance agreement by and between Princeton Township and the city of Baldwin.
Bill Whitcomb.
Huh?
Bill Whitcomb, right?
Bill Whitcomb, yeah. And and I think Bob has talked to him some. I think that basically, you guys are here, we don't even need to rehash it, whatever, but it's just gonna be for this little spot here, basically, we'll take care of that unless monster reconstruction needs to happen, and then we're gonna talk about it, so we'll allow it. And then.
We'll just annex it and then.
Yeah. Then there's this little piece, this little piece, I believe, that's right here. That comes right into there, so, and it's only the part that comes, off the end here, whatever, basically we're trading. They're gonna do that as well. You know what I mean? They're gonna maintain that, whatever, 'cause it goes into blue, into Princeton Township. Up here, there's nothing on it here, nothing in Baldwin, whatever, other than the piece of road, whatever, and it feeds people that they have up there. So, same thing, and some years ago, they talked about doing this, I think they were told by attorneys that we need to have road agreements in place. And at that point in time, it was like, it didn't make any sense, because it was our road, we weren't doing anything to it.
Aren't you talking about actually 325th on the very top? Cause you're pointing down into Baldwin territory down
Yeah,
there.
no, it is in Baldwin, and so, and I do believe it comes in 323rd, comes straight up. So this is gonna be this piece. It's a lousy map, isn't it?
Yeah, you're,
It's right at the end here. So
no, you're thinking of a different curve. Cause
that's the northernmost
the
curve.
county road curves, it goes straight like this, and this is Red Bridge Road coming off of here. That's the one that splits the border. And it's a minimum maintenance piece of junk.
Correct.
Yeah.
In the first,
On the Princeton
the first
side.
part, on the Princeton side.
Yes.
So.
There's that
See how
bridge.
the curve is? That's the big county road. County Road 11, going like that. And then this is Sherburne County 37, and then, of course, Andy Trader Boulevard down there.
Anyway, it makes sense to do this because they can maintain that and take care of what they need to do there. If major reconstruction needs to happen at some point in time, whatever, then we're gonna have
I
discussions.
think we need to
about that.
propose to the state that we need to rebuild that bridge on that, or 325th there, so we can take our fire trucks right through downtown, almost downtown, hang a right and head over to the northern part.
Poking the bear, aren't you? What are the wishes of the board? That's basic. Bob, you talked to them, you have
Yeah.
agreed that, they've agreed that all is well.
Yes, my understanding that the Princeton Township has already in concept agreed to this. I don't know if they've officially approved it at a town board meeting yet, but according to their lawyer, they were okay with it.
Mr. Mayor, I think we should maybe ask if we can annex that little piece of road on the end there. And that way that becomes a MSA from county road to county road, cause their portion disqualifies that stretch of road.
Well, until we get to that point and that agreement with them, let's have this agreement in place that at least.
That's a separate
do
issue,
that.
but
Yes.
I just was bringing this up for point of
Put
order.
it on the next agenda, because that is an interesting thought.
That on the next agenda, will you add that?
But you can, if they, especially if we could do an immediate annexation, it'd be we need a legal description for that, and if they would be agreeable to it.
It takes it off of their problem, they don't have to deal with it. And then it helps us manage the whole system there. Especially when we, had our little thing, agreement with that business and our issues with the
No, I
future
agree.
construction.
And it takes, you're absolutely right, it takes one element. out of it.
Joan, could you add? The northern part of 136th Street, that is in Princeton Township.
Princeton Township.
That'll really get the city of Princeton flared up, they say.
Poking the bear, but I like it. All righty. Contract with them, is there a motion to
I'll
approve?
make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries, excellent. All righty, table item, well, we have letter D, sorry. Discuss the muck on 100th Street. Mr.
Yeah, so I believe this is that Matt Kime was already out there, last year about this, the underground creek over there off 100th Street. I believe the homeowner's name is Greg. We looked at that already last
We got
year.
pictures of that today, sorry.
Yeah, now he's got muck coming out and he contacted Soil Water Conservation, so my question is, how many times do you wanna send our engineer out there for this? I don't know if you're aware of it, it's the same gentleman.
Yes.
So, I mean, if Soil Water Conservation can,
I mean, my fear is, when you look at the pictures, if you can pull them up or whatever, if you can look at those pictures, it certainly looks like something. So, I guess, hit the nail on the head. I wanna make sure that that's not coming from the neighbor's septic. But whatever it is that we gotta do to ensure, you know what I mean, with being, I guess, as minimally invasive as we could possibly be. It could entail a lot, you know what I mean? So for the environmental side of it, and then the other part of that is, what scope is our responsibility? Because if it is coming from the neighbors, other than, serving the neighbor with papers that say you gotta fix your septic system, beyond that, it becomes a civil matter, correct, Bob? It's not coming from our road or coming from someplace that we're responsible for.
Well, I will say that Sandy Lake is spring fed. There are springs all over that part of the township, and even that, if you got Sandy Lake here and you go west, you end up over where we're just talking about the hillside of that, what's the name of the development, Zach?
West side, you say?
The development by your mom's up on the hill,
The Highlands.
Highlands. Same kind of conditions, same soil types and springs and all that crap, so it may be that there's certain minerals or something in the ground that are dragging that color out too. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, because if you look at the location of the house next door, it's a long ways away. I'm sure the sewer ain't right on top of him.
Would think you'd be able to find out pretty quick with testing that soil, whether it's from a septic or it's a mineral content.
Some sort. And before we get down the road of who does it, who pays for it, how does that?
And with the heavy rains, all the rains we've had, he's probably pushing more water out than normal. Probably doesn't see that very often, but when it comes out, that's probably, it's some kind of mineral out of
won't
it.
Soil Water Conservation take a soil sample?
You would
They
think.
should, wouldn't they?
I would say our response is, we're concerned, we'd like to know that it's not a leaking sewer.
Correct.
But if it's just a natural thing, this isn't our problem.
Yes, exactly. So if you could go out and prove that for us.
Just
Even
give
if
the
we-
sniff
even if
test.
we need to get soil and water involved as well, you know what I mean, to get out there with you and look at that.
Yeah, in our office, we discussed it a little this morning, and it was kind of just do a drive-by, check it out ourselves first and see what, just get our eyes on it.
Soil samples.
Do that with discussion, I don't think we need a motion. That was the only thing you added to the road report, right?
Other than maybe just that we respond to the homeowner that we're gonna look into it.
Yeah, well, we'll send them the findings that we have once we
Well,
get
just
them.
immediate response tomorrow that
You can send it back.
the council discussed it and the engineer's gonna,
Look into it.
After I got Jay's response today that he said that he wanted it looked at, I did let the homeowner and Sam know. But we thought we should add it to the agenda.
perfect. Guess they know then.
Table items, discuss, approve, disapprove, Blue Hill Township Fire Contract, Mr. Case.
We met with the contract, it's been, Mr. Curry has fixed the, items that I mentioned to him. I think, Blue Hill is saying, I believe they have the same final contract. Looked fine to me. I didn't see any glaring pop-ups, so I went through it today. Didn't see anything that concerned
My
me.
understanding from Mike Corey, who's the one who worked on this, that everybody's in agreement on this.
So I would say, I would recommend approval of the contract, just so everybody remembers it is dropping $5,000 from the previous year based on the formula, so. Blue Hill is gonna save a little money there, so.
What are the wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve the Blue Hill contract.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Just a quick explanation, what was the cause that caused it to drop 5,000?
The previous prior to incorporation, we used a formula that included our equipment fund. And now, and before, we just we had a flat fee to start the whole thing off because we were basing everything on what Princeton's prior numbers were. So we gave them 55,000 and we just kept it at the 55,000 for during this year. Well, this is the first year where all the numbers were off. We weren't really using it much from Princeton anymore. And after incorporation here, we've got all our funds lined up the way they're supposed to be. And so the contract changed to what the League of Minnesota Cities has as a standard contract over the formula, and that's what we're using for the formula. And that's how it came out. So, and, you know, our population in Baldwin is growing faster and our value is growing faster than what Blue Hill is, and that affects how that formula rates because it's both of them and our overall taxable value went up faster than theirs, so that's kind of how the formula worked.
All right, thanks for the explanation. Fair enough.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor?
Now this,
Keith? Sam, good to go.
this will, I think, now be able to be sent, we have approved it, this will go to Blue Hill, and then they will approve it next, correct?
Yeah, they have their meeting the next meeting is in August, I believe, or July, beginning of July.
So in early July, we should have this ratified.
Yeah, and just to be FYI, the next meeting we have to do this, according to the contract, is going to be in February. Next year, it won't be in May, it'll be in February. So they have their final numbers in time for their township annual meeting.
Deliver that to their people by March,
Perfect.
just like we had.
They wouldn't have to do that if they just annexed in.
King of annexation. All right, Mr. Rush, you had a comment.
Yeah, I just
Do
think, I
something for
think
the next 20
Sam, I
years.
don't think Sam, I don't think we need him for the rest of the agenda. If
Let him go that easily?
well,
Like to hear us drone on.
You're more than welcome to stay. Okay, but yes, I would agree that there's probably not much left. Discuss, approve, disapprove, update, employee handbook. That would be. Everything is now up to date. Tom, did you get your questions answered?
yeah, the emergency calls handled by Public Works was not in there, so that was put back in here. And then the snow plowing, was defined there. With the, overtime, so my questions, that was on page 22, so my questions were addressed there, that was missed, that's why.
Because I think besides your concerns that you had had.
Yeah, I just didn't get a chance.
Oh, that's fine. So now we'll approve it tonight in full and be done. Is there a motion to approve? Second.
Second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All right. Discuss no parking on 139th Street. That's me as well. I saw the emails that came through, whatever, that's not,
Private
that's a
road.
private road, that's not ours, and this letter was sent to him. So the discussion is, that this letter was sent by Curry and Rupee. Was it Curry or Rupee?
No, I drafted it and sent it.
That's only when you write the check, Corey or Ruby.
Yeah. I get the checks and I'll deposit it. Maybe I'll tell him. But no, basically, this road was vacated in, what was it, 1996, if I remember right? So therefore, you lost all jurisdiction over it. We have no authority because you can only, as the road authority, you're only one you can put the no parking ordinance in. And so we have no basis for what she's asking us to do.
Is there, what was the reason for vacating the road?
No idea. I'm kind of surprised because it was going to landlock that whole U-shaped set of platted properties, but back in 96, there must have been a reason for it, but I'm not party to it.
Yeah, just curious. Thank you.
You would have to summon the spirit of Jess Hall to get that answer, I guess. Lester might know.
Oh, yeah.
And also, maybe Steve Weisenflue might have been on the board at that time. Or they got ran out. They get run out, but they got tired of the crap.
Before my time. All righty, so let's see here. Discuss, approve, disapprove, removal of cemetery fence at County Road 38 and 19.
Okay, somebody went and took nice photos. Well, I think the mayor wanted to know more about how much fence from where to where, maybe? And we didn't fully, I think we discussed it, but if we did approve it, we can approve it again. It looks like, maybe Zach, did you go out and take these photos?
I did.
Very nice photos. So
Picasso.
the third page gives you a good show of the effect, looking down the fence line, it becomes a screen, becomes a wall. And when you're in a car, a little, sitting low, you've got to nose out. If you look at the rail, you see the point where you should be stopping for a stop sign, you can't see to the south, looking to the left. So you have to nose out and you get to the point where, to get past that fence, you get your nose almost to the traffic lane that's going north on 19 underneath. And Lester had called me and suggested that maybe we pursue looking for a fence that's a lower profile or something, and he said with being the guardrail there, the guardrail's kind of serving, he said the only purpose of the fence is to keep the snowmobilers out of trouble, not have them come in and crash into a granite monument.
Can we have the fence come where the guardrail ends, have the fence
in there and keep, keep it so snowmobilers can't sneak through there.
That's what I was gonna say.
Otherwise, there's no reason for a fence there if you have the guardrail.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of this, leaving this pole right here. Leaving
Yeah.
that there, remove this pole, and then go down, like he said, where the guardrail, remove that whole fence, and just put something there so they can't.
Well, if you look at the second page on the far end, what we could do there is take and add a section of fence to close the gap on the guardrail.
I would like to talk to the county. Yes, we could, but I'd like to talk to the county first.
Not about removing the fence.
No. What about adding a little bit of fence to get up to the guardrail? Because I think they're
Yeah, they probably
Get
wouldn't.
away.
It's up to you if we just want to ask for forgiveness.
Put four-way lights there.
Well, how about just
Yeah, they should at least put the blinking stop signs. I don't mean that by swearing at stop
Maybe if they just put a speed bump on that intersection.
I think aesthetically too, that just removing the fence would be a good idea, make that place look nicer.
It's totally
I don't
gone.
think I've ever seen a cemetery without a fence around.
Well, if you got-
all kinds of them?
I don't think I've ever seen
Does Berry Cemetery have a fence over on 325th? I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
And, Clough Cemetery on County Road 5 just doesn't have a front fence on the frontage.
Well, you certainly can do a nicer fence.
You think it does?
than
You
the
know
other.
which one I'm talking about? At that little one? Is there a fence on the front? I can't picture it.
I
It's a
will-
real minimal
I
fence.
will make a motion for Public Works to remove, end it right here, kind of by the tree. Move this, take this out, something here, flush with the tree, and then take that out down by the guardrail, and then put like a little fence to the guardrail.
If you look at the third page picture, move the cursor to the one just to the right of the tree, or right there. Stop right there and just take the next section and the
Yes.
line down.
Correct. Yep.
And take it all the way down to the corner of the fence. Along the guardrail, all the way down to the south corner, right there. And then we can ask the county if there's something, maybe we just have a little,
It's east.
what?
It's looking east.
This is the south end of the fence.
Kind of curves in.
By this is on 19 on the south end of the line we're
That's
talking.
looking south.
Yeah, I'm saying the south end of the fence
Oh,
at that corner,
the west end of the fence, and then
the
everything
southwest
south.
corner of this section.
Actually, it'd be the northwest corner.
No, this is the southwest corner of that section. The northwest is over by the stop sign.
That is looking due east.
All right.
No, that's looking north.
And if we can't get that fence from the county, maybe we can use Bogart's.
That's looking north. That's looking north. There's the pine trees across the road in the park to your west. Yeah.
North, south.
No, I do.
Zach, is this clear?
You're clear.
Okay. He's the only one that's gotta know what's going on out there.
Oh, it's right, because it's curved in at the entrance.
Yes.
Cut down,
Yes.
That's why I'm all confuzzled.
Yes, that's why I suggested just bringing, well, I don't know, I guess if we had a picture of what the fence does over here. We could if we could close the gap way off over here by the driveway.
You could continue like the same symmetry of the guardrail and fence that in. Put chain link fence over to the existing fence on the.
I guess our only question is what do we do to close this 4-foot gap here?
That's why I'm saying we need to talk to.
That's what we're gonna need to talk to the county, but I think that what we probably do there is a, highly visible, how about a plastic chain link? So if they do hit it, they snap the plastic, you know what I'm saying, with reflectors on it? Like two,
But how would it even, get there? By the
they
other-
shouldn't, but.
They
it's just
should,
the
but
idea.
you always got somebody that's gotta try something new and they go right behind the rail, I'm sure.
Well, and
Because
not
it's
only
got
that,
fresh
but
snow.
some idiots went and put a guardrail right in the way. Literally, if that guardrail wasn't there, then snowmobiles would still be able to get through there. You know,
Yep.
So,
Well, they did the guardrail in lieu of exhuming a bunch of graves there and relocating them to get the right of way that they would have needed for the road.
I know that, but I mean this big curve right here. Obviously, they did that for safety reasons, but anyway, what are the wishes of the council? So you're proposing to remove the whole west?
He has a motion and I'll second it.
Motion and second.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, so that guardrail runs into the city property, right?
Yeah.
Well, there shouldn't be any reason why we just couldn't come straight with that fence to cut that off. at the
guardrail?
si- Yeah, just,
That's what I was proposing earlier.
yeah, just bring it right to the guardrail. It's in the,
Don't bring the south end west.
He's just
Well,
going
bring it
straight.
south.
South end south.
yeah,
Yeah, bring it straight south.
That corner straight.
That closes it off.
that closes it off and
Any
then,
idea how this fence is installed? I mean, I'm gonna guess there's poured concrete in bottoms of all these
I'll
posts.
leave it over to Zach.
'Cause you're gonna need to go out there with a loader or skid loader or something. Loader will rip everything out of the bits. Like, oh, you'll be there forever trying to do that. I'm just saying that part of tearing this out is gonna.
Make sure we don't damage the
This,
grave.
this is pretty sandy conditions here.
No, I know, but there's gonna be concrete. I'll bet you $100 right here now, you wouldn't be able to lift one of these.
No, but he's saying with a device.
Yeah, well, me too, and I'm saying that device comes with a loader and hydraulic cylinders and tracks, so you don't mess anything up there while you're going down, pulling all the poles.
Got a limited space in some of them.
Well, you're not gonna get the loader in there.
I would just.
You don't wanna be on the grave side of this, tearing this out, you
Yeah.
wanna be on the road side.
I was just saying with the way that guardrail comes over and the fence to the east runs north and south, you get to that point where the guardrail comes up and you could just connect it right there and it's probably just a short little spot.
Yeah, then that leaves our only gap over on the 38 side.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the main focus is just to get
Yeah, I'm
the
just-
visibility.
Yeah.
Getting it out, that's, or moving the fence, that's not the problem. How are they gonna do it? Discussion now.
You'd have to have like a tractor backhoe with a
Something,
chain.
yeah, with
Reach
something.
over that fence, you'd have to corner it off and pull it out with a backhoe.
Sentence to serve with a bunch of shovels.
We have used sentence to serve.
I'm just saying.
Well, and also, they could initially just get the wire off and the top rails off, and then, you know, come back another day and work on just pulling the poles, but if they got this much concrete around them or whatever, it ain't gonna be that hard to get them to come out. There's gonna be no
Is that a
resistance.
loader on a tractor?
Yeah, I have a loader
You
on.
could run out there and help.
I could run out there and do it, but see, I don't have the authorization, it's against the rules for a council member to just go and do work on the town and then
could
go
do-
and build
no,
it.
But I could
it's
do,
not.
I could do the paperwork, we could get it approved in concept.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, I can have that for you tomorrow morning.
I just did.
That would
I took it sidetracked before the vote.
absolutely help lift them. I'm just saying, cause you're gonna put these
Just
guys
remember,
out
we
here
have to
trying
do
to do
the
something they're not gonna be able to do manually. We
Sound
don't
too
have the
expensive.
equipment to necessarily get in there. The high lift jack, Zach, thanks for even bringing that up, because that'd be a lot of work. You know what I mean, to try and get all them poles out with that.
Well, I agree
just
with Jeff's
saying.
approach. Cut the fence, get that fence.
Authorize him to rent a skid loader from either rent a Marv's or Princeton.
Yeah, the
whatever,
only
go
thing
out
is,
there
will
with
he
four-
fit in there?
Oh, yeah, and they're easy.
Okay, so he starts on one end and he makes room as he goes. Okay, well, let's finish this motion and then we'll make him, or you add to this motion.
I just say add it to the motion?
Add it to the motion, Tom, to your motion. Will you take a friendly, Tom, to allow them to rent a skid steer that'll fit in there? Yeah, that's second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
What's the instructions for the fencing material for them to do with?
Put it at the park.
We've been down this road.
We've been down this road. Is there anywhere we need fence?
I would just say store it at the park, inside the brown building.
There's no room in the brown building.
Yeah, there is. We cleaned that up.
Well, if there is room, then for sure. The poles, because you're gonna have poles with a whole bunch of concrete on the bottom of them. What do you want them to do with that?
Put it out here where, for next year's cleanup day.
Stand them out here for the, back by the bunker?
I say you bring all the materials to one spot, though. Just bring it all to the town hall.
Probably gonna be, what, 2 or 3 rolls? That's gonna get heavy when you roll all that up, so it's probably 3.
Good thing you got a skid steer, huh?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would just bring it all here, and if you need it, take it over there.
As long as he knows what everybody's expecting. Cool, we're gonna bring it here. All right, bring it all here. How's that?
Mayor, one question. Are we gonna talk about extending that fence south?
We have not, well, we thought to run it, due south. If we go east, west, we have to talk to the county.
That existing fences to put it.
Well, there's already fence going like this now. So the question is where the guardrail ends, is there a shorter?
Shortest way would be to go west with the fence.
Yeah,
I
front,
think though.
To the guardrail from where it ends now.
Correct. I think at least resistance
Yeah.
with the county and connecting to some of the structure right away would possibly be to go south and connect back.
Okay, well, then let's find out from the county if they're gonna have any pushback on that.
Well, to me, I think where that guardrail ends is well out of their right of way.
yeah, and we're not actually
And you don't have to
connecting,
have the fence go touch it, but just.
you don't have to connect it.
Come behind it a little.
You're just talking about running the fence
No.
right here.
No, where the guardrail comes, bad picture. Where the guardrail curves around, I don't think you got that picture up
There's no
there.
picture of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
From this end of the guardrail.
Here.
Oh, curves in there.
Alright, you a picture.
Tom,
That look about right?
see the fence goes here, the guardrail's
Here's the
there, just
guardrail.
go straight over from.
Oh, got it. Here's the driveway. Coming
See what
in.
I'm talking about?
Yep.
And we're taking the fence out from here. Scott, you're just talking about a short piece right here.
Yep.
Well, then we don't have to bother.
Then you don't have to bother with the county.
Yeah.
You don't touch the guardrail, you just put it right next to it and we're done.
I won't be able to go. I cannot get a blower in there.
Come in from the other direction, from the north.
This'll all, this, you'll be able to get in here.
Grade is, it's like this, guys. Zero turn won't make it down that slope.
Okay,
Well, then take a section or two.
put
more
a,
out
put a
there.
gate in there. How big of a gap is it from this fence to the end of the guardrail, do you think it is? You're driving through there now, 20 feet,
Put a gate in.
put a gate in. Okay. Just big enough to get your mower.
Alrighty, are we good?
Yes.
Alrighty.
What happened to the old gate that we used to have on the north end? Is that laying out in, the weeds still over at the former, road supervisors? Yes, you know how we have that decorative gate there now?
That would be west of the,
The north end of the cemetery on 38, we have the decorative gate. The old gate, do you know what happened to that?
I didn't know there was an old gate. I know we've got the wrought iron gate.
Yeah, you have the wrought iron gate, but there used to be just a two panel open,
It's still there.
where is it?
It's in place on the north end. It swings in towards the Wiesen, no, it wouldn't be Wiesen Blue Graves, but it,
No, the one, the driveway that's paved
yep,
has the decorative gate now.
yep,
There used to be a wire gate there.
yep, just to the west of the current gate. There is one on the west side of the current gate. There's two gates on the.
Yes, I'm not talking about the other gate, okay, over by the Weisenflues. I'm talking about, there was a gate that was removed to put the wrought iron deal in. Did that end up out at Terry's with the rest of the fence? Cause we replaced the fence back in the day, is it laying?
That's Lester.
Okay.
We'll find whatever gate at a later date, how's that? Excellent, great idea, wonderful. New business, discuss, approve, disapprove renewal of tobacco license for Ridgewood Bay. What are the wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, discuss, approve, disapprove COLA increase for employees. What are the wishes of the council?
Mayor, I recommend giving a 4% increase effective July 1st of 2025.
Second? Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Now, there's a schedule a budget meeting here on here, and I get you, what you guys, I was not at that last budget meeting. Did you guys schedule a time, or you waited?
No, so Mr. Mayor, I'll give you some clarification. We were going through the budget, but it was kind of hard because, it's different from what Ellers had and what we're used to the levy. So Joan, and then we had some questions about the, special, the 25,000 for the firefighters, pension, where that's gonna come in the fire, out of the fire budget, or Joan was gonna look at and fill out those line items.
So I emailed Ellers, I haven't heard back from her about that, 25.
Yeah, that should not come out of the fire budget, that's all I'm saying. So, we can talk about it.
I mean, I totally agree.
Yeah, we need to talk about it at a budget meeting, but it shouldn't be, it never did before.
Okay, so, what we had always done, and the council had done, is there was a $25,000, revenue that we levied, because at an annual meeting, the people could approve it. So as a line item, the people approved a $25,000 line item for the Relief Association, to fund the Relief Association for the firefighters. The question now is, for me anyway, the question now is, as a city, can we just do that?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason you were raising funds as a township was because you don't have control over the levy. You had control over the amount the town was going to sort of guarantee, the amount on the fire relief. The fire relief itself, if they had the sufficient funds, could be more generous with firefighters, but there was always a max for what the town itself would guarantee. And so you were setting the levy, that's what you were asking the residents to do in order to fund that. And now, because you're a city, you, as a city council, now put that as part of your line item in your budget for your.
So we can take the 25,000, kind of get rid of it and just include it in the overall fire.
No, it shouldn't be in the fire budget, it is a separate thing, it's a pension, has nothing to do with my budget. It's like your para that the city pays for a para for your employees, it's a total separate
It's
thing. Doesn't belong in the fire budget.
It's what you are, as a city, it's the amount that you are contributing, that you are in a sense guaranteeing. You are saying, because the fire relief has got, and I know you have financial advisors that look at the fire relief and they.
But the state does it, it's under para.
It's
all
under
para.
para now? You're not
It's all
under fire
para.
relief? Okay, the state does it. And so, no, this is a line item in your budget. This is not something, this is just part of your budget for whatever your contribution is that you need to make to para. I'm not sure how para works on this. I'm more on fire relief associations, but now that they've converted to para, then that's where you're coming from. And that is scheduled and set as part of your normal budget process as the city council. Residents don't vote on that any longer. But that doesn't go to the fire department. It could be a line item for the, for fire relief or for para for the fire department, for whatever your auditors recommend for your books, but that's still a city council issue.
If that's fine, if we leave it there, then. My question too is that I didn't like how Ellers did this, because one, where in the hell happened to the maintenance fund for improvement? That's gone. And then they combined road and bridge in the general fund. And it's a cluster. You can't even tell how much capital. I mean, the fire departments is still there, but why did they move maintenance? Maintenance is completely gone off that levy.
We had some changes that happened, Ellers did some, Burkhart asked Joan to do some things as well that we caught and started to turn around, and maybe some of this is some of that. And so what I'm getting out of all of this is what they're really at. As a township, we had a road and bridge levy, and we could put this in front of the people and say we wanted X for that. We had a fire fund that we put in front of the people that said we wanted X for this, right? And we had explanations and reasons why we wanted to fund all of those funds accordingly, right? And it seems to like things are getting blended together.
Correct.
More so than they ever have been, almost as though this is becoming a bigger, much larger slush fund.
Not a slush fund, so to speak. It's still, instead of the residents and you making your case to the residents at the annual meeting where you, exactly why Blue Hill Fire Department asked for this, or Blue Hill Township asked for the fire contract to be negotiated in February, so they can have a number to go ask the residents to set the levy high enough to pay for it. You now have, as a city, the changeover is because you have a lot more urbanization. You have a need to be able to control the finances of the city in order to make sure you can fund the road projects, the fire department, the services that you're providing to the residents. They now, the state gives you, the city council, that authority. So you could still have your own decisions on what you think needs to be funded and why. It's just that you don't have to make the case to the residents now.
But
Can I-
talking about specifically is where the money is put into different fund lines. And so the general fund became a big cow, and we don't have the standard township road and bridge fund where we can see that our maintenance and our road projects are gonna come out of. It's fallen into general fund under these different line numbers, but it's hard for the layman or even the council member sometimes to look at it and be able to extract out. Yeah, well, you know, we've got about 500,000 extra this year that we're gonna put towards roads. It's just not that clear. It's really muddy.
That's, again, maybe I misunderstood what your issue is, but that is something you would work out with your auditors. You know, if you're not happy with what their recommendations are, then they either have to tell you that is a statutory requirement that you have to do this, or you don't do it. And if they don't like it, they don't have to, you know, audit your books in the future.
Mr. Mayor, the only reason I want the fire para pension fund separate than the fire budget, because if somebody's asking about the fire budget, if that gets blended in there, they have no idea what the city is on the
That's
helping.
what I'm talking about maintenance, because
Yeah,
I want to
but that-
increase it too.
Again, that's you brought it up as
Yeah.
a fire pension fund. It needs, we need to talk about it at a budget meeting, and it needs to be.
I think
separate.
we've always been in agreement that that needs to be that way. I don't think there's anybody thinking that it needs to be, so it's clear and understood.
Let's just talk at a budget meeting and get that clear that
The
way.
only thing we were supposed to be talking about was scheduling the budget. Hey, we were almost out of here, you guys. Joan, yes.
So I need to, so the confusion came in because Elizabeth put that in the expenditures.
Yes.
And so I need to clarify that for her. Just quickly going back into, so a big reason why 275 is now a capital fund. And the reason why the other stuff for road and bridge went into the general fund is basically for MSA. So you're getting your MSA money and it goes into the general fund, and then any of your road maintenance comes out of the general fund. But again, our auditor will be here the second meeting in July, and so we can ask more questions then.
After the auditor?
I believe it is, yes.
Might better have one between just to keep working on.
I think you need to keep working.
Yeah, let's get it hammered out if we have a hiccup from the.
This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think we need to have one before the auditor show.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
This is setting this is setting the amount, not how you're gonna allocate it on your bookkeeping records, which is what you, Tom, wanna talk to the auditor about.
Yes.
And that's a separate whole issue.
But now, Bob, question. We still can take that amount, I think we talked about this in the past, take that amount that we're levying and put it in a much more readable, you know, general fund, you know how we've presented it at the annual meetings. I thought either you or Mike had said that we were able to, you know, have our own document that parses out, you know, just the layman, like, you know, 650,000 to this, 375 to
You mean
that.
like a truth in taxation and how
Yeah,
you're,
as,
yes.
as a handout, that's
Yes.
really simplified.
Yes, you can do that. This is your presentation versus internal bookkeeping. You're getting apples and oranges mixed up here. This is
Yes,
something
they
that,
are.
this is what the auditors are asking for them to track the money, to make it easier for them. This is really not a statutory, it's not a legal obligation. This is something that they are requesting for their own ease of use.
It's basically a chart of accounts for a city versus a township.
Right, and it's something that they are familiar with, but there's nothing in state law that says you have to organize your books this way. This is what they prefer, and because they prefer it this way, that's what they're recommending. And they're probably telling you, if you do this, it'll probably make your auditing cheaper in the future. Because they're familiar with it, they know where to go look. It's like one of my contracts may have the same thing, but it's organized a different way. I know section 12A always has violations. I know exactly where to go look for it. So does, Sam and his contracts. Same thing that's being discussed here.
And I looked at,
Issue, it's best practice.
and I looked at Zimmerman and Obertville, and their structure is the same.
Right, and that is just why they are requesting it, because that's similar.
Then maybe we need to become, as council members, more familiar with in the chart of accounts, the ones pertaining to like road and bridge, all those things, parse out a report that just pulls that part of the budget out. So when I'm looking at it, I don't have distractions from other general fund items. I've got a little more zoomed in picture of, where we're at.
I think you could do that. You could look at all these different funds that funnel money into road and bridge, and you have that lump amount. And you don't have to go with the residents. Well, we put this in the 401 account, and this is on the 202 account, and this is one.
We'd lose them if we talked about
No,
that.
all you're saying is, we have allocated in our budget, in our minds, we're allocating this total amount of money for road and bridge, historically, things that they would understand.
He would like a bucket where we just go over to it and go, there you go, Tom, there's 700,000 for road projects.
800,000 though.
Let's schedule this meeting.
July 9th,
Okay.
it's Wednesday. I will not be here, so everybody knows, for the July 7th meeting. I'll be out of town. That's your baby.
Okay, we'll be done by 8.
Okay, July 9th?
So, yep.
Holding you to that.
fine.
All right, I'm good with it.
We were almost out of here.
But it won't happen when he's in charge.
Yeah, they'll call me Rush for nothing.
I couldn't figure out north, south, or whatever it was on the.
July 9th?
July, I'm just throwing it out there, it's a Wednesday.
That's fine with
Make a motion to approve, July 9th.
Second.
Wednesday, July 9th. Is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Budget meeting is July 9th. Okay,
7 PM, yeah,
7 PM.
Wednesday.
Okay, discuss, approve, disapprove ordinance 2025.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Motion is second. Any further discussion?
And the fee is similar to the county's fee, we adjusted that?
Yes, the Sunday liquor license fee has been added, and it's the same $200.
$200, okay.
You seconded it, correct? Yes. Any further discussion?
Do we want to discuss financial background check, or not at this time?
What are the wishes of the council? Yeah, we probably should, but.
Maybe I can
Yes,
summarize
yes,
it.
do.
Statute says that when you are issuing either a new initial liquor license, a renewal, or a transfer, you're supposed to background check and look at the person's financials. But they don't tell you how to do that. For background check, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have some sort of criminal record, that's supposed to be taken into account. You're supposed to share this with the state. Financial, how do you know? Traditionally, most cities look at it as if you can have the certificate of liability insurance for dram shop and for general liability, unless you know something about the business is maybe faltering or something, that's typically what they do. I don't know can you go and get up to $500 to investigate a whole business and look at their books? I don't know who you're gonna find to do that and give you some sort of assurance that, because somebody's gonna get sued if they recommend against giving the liquor license because of somebody's financial condition, and they are wrong. And so generally, I think most communities look at it from whether you can provide the required insurance. Unless there is something that is raised with you guys and you know it, then in your ordinance, it does have a provision in there that you can, on the council's discretion, look further, and the max is $500 by state statute to be able to spend on that background check, additional background check.
I don't see any reason we need to dig into their financials. That seems a little invasive to me. If they can assure us they have insurance and they do a background check, I'm fine with that.
Also, take this as a friendly to remove the financial background requirement.
I would recommend you leave that in there because that's a state law requirement, but you have the discretion as to what you do to perform that. And what you're saying is we're interpreting our ordinance to just the financial part to be you complied with insurance. So I don't think you need a change in the ordinance. We don't leave it, so, because if you need it in the future, if you do have some indication that somebody is going bankrupt or whatever, you have that ability then.
And that this is for in our case right now, renewals, we don't have a new applicant.
Technically, they're new to us because these are our first ones. Just saying.
So we will,
Not a new business, not a new,
but if we have something new coming in, we want to know how to handle that. So,
have the tools in place to handle it if need be.
This gives you the tools to handle it as required by state law, but gives you the discretion in how you do it. I would recommend
I could,
this language.
I could see a new one coming in, you wanna make sure they're not gonna just do something
You
half-built.
wouldn't want some cocaine smuggler to come in and
Right.
start building, throwing money all around. And here it's just like part of his laundering scheme and he's just trying to bamboozle I mean, if that were to happen in a place like Baldwin, Minnesota, that only happens in,
So, I would say definitely on a new one, you do the financials, but not,
what a transfer. You have renewals, you have transfer, you have.
transfer, I guess I wanna make sure I understand what you mean by transfer.
That
Transfer
means
ownership.
Transfer the ownership. They're transferring the license, they're assigning it to somebody else, some other person or business. And that is something that would be looked at as kind of something anew. But the
Yeah, I would-
question, I would go back to your comment, is when you say, yeah, we should be looking at financials, staff is gonna be looking for direction from you as to what do you mean by that? Does that mean we ask for a year's financials from each person? Do we ask for all their bank account information? What does that entail? And then who's making that decision? Who's gonna go through those books and make that call, knowing that if we denied somebody's permit based on that, there's probably gonna be a lawsuit.
I'm thinking if the background and they supply, the insurance information on a transfer would be just.
That is generally what we're talking about here. For every single person, they have to have the dram shop, they have to have the general liability insurance, and they have to pass the background check as conducted by the
Yeah.
sheriff. And in that situation, what our recommendation is, we believe they have now complied with the background check and the financial condition check. And if you found something that raises a big red flag for you, the council, you have the ability, under your ordinance, to now require additional funds up to $500 to do whatever extra investigation you need, in either topic.
yeah, I kind of covered what I was just gonna say, cause they're gonna have to submit to a background check to the sheriff. Okay, cause I know in situations where a father owned, he passed away, son had certain felonies, and here they're sitting with 2 bars and the son can't operate them. And because of his background, and they're in a pickle. And then another thing is so we have a limit to how many liquor licenses we could have in our community at all, or not?
I've not researched that, so I don't know.
I know in like more sparsely populated areas, it gets to be like so many per county, and maybe not Minnesota, but other states.
I'd have to research that. I don't know that off
Okay.
the top of my head, and I didn't.
Because then if that's the case, say we did have a limit based on our population, then, is there regulations on how many one party can hold, kind of a thing? Like having multiple establishments.
That would be something I'd have to look at. I do not know that off the top.
We don't have that problem right now, so don't spend any money on it, so.
If you do have another application, then that would be something that we would look at and then give you some guidance on.
And then how about if they came in with a proposal to build some big grandiose Taj Mahal thing, like they wanna put in a microbrew or something, and they're gonna have a heavy investment into it, and we're gonna go through and we're gonna, wanna do a liquor license for them or whatever. But would we not wanna be able to see like a business plan or some kind of financial statement to say this guy actually has the means to construct this and bring it all the way to final stage and open? Does it matter to us that somebody starts building something and then it falls apart and then we've got,
That would be under your zoning.
so that
That would be
we
under
would look
your
under
zoning.
zoning for that? Okay.
Or in that case, could we requisite to, once the establishment is built, then now we don't have to dig into any books. Once the establishment is there, it's ready.
Well, I don't think the banker, the financing is gonna wanna have it without a guarantee there's a license to go with it.
Yeah, your ability to use all of these different financial stuff and everything, I would tell you to exercise that with caution. It's in there, but there is no guidance as to what does that mean. There is absolutely nothing, there is no case law, there is nothing in the league materials on what does all that mean. And so if you were gonna use that as a basis for any decision on affirmatively allowing or not allowing somebody to have a permit, we would have to talk about what that basis is.
Kinda unrelated, but now what if we had a revolving loan fund for businesses for some kinda Chotsky thing, and we've gotta look at there and see if they're a dog or whether they're a business worth investing into or whatever, is an economic development tool. You're gonna look at their finances at that point.
That's a different situation, and that is.
But what if you say, no, you don't qualify for our money here, are we gonna get sued?
Now, that's another situation.
No, I don't think we would get sued because that's a whole different thing. We're not holding a license hostage for that. That is an on or off switch, the license. They wouldn't get funding from us because we said no. If they had an angel or somebody out there that would give it to them, they would still have another avenue to be able to do that. And we wouldn't carry that.
Mr. Mayor, we're talking about a lot of what ifs that may not happen anytime soon, so
We're doing the people's work here.
We're gonna get off
We're
the
a city and we're growing here and we need to iron out some things, and we have our attorney here tonight, so to bounce a question off of him right now costs us less than to send him an email tomorrow.
We were almost out of here in a little while.
Can I just clarify for the record what was decided then? That a financial investigation will be conducted with an insurance policy submission on renewals, transfers, and new applications. The city council has discretion to do additional investigations as they see fit at the time. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay.
All right, motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All righty, discuss, approve, disapprove, city staff health insurance annual renewal. Clerk.
So in front of you guys, there's two handouts. If you want to turn to the handout that looks like the one that's on the screen right now. It's got more pages, it's got 5 pages. So currently, what we have for health insurance here is through Health Partners, and that's that first column, right here, that we currently pay is right here. The second column has what it's going up to. And then they gave us 2 options in column 3 and 4. So he kind of did a comparison with us. There's additional comparisons on page 3 and 4, but then he did up another comparison, and this is on the second handout, that looks like this one right here. So what he told me was that he recommends going with the policy Medica, which is, less money at the $3,002. But if you take price comparison side by side, if you take this first page here with the health partners and you compare it to the Medica, it's a pretty good comparison. He said that, that was his recommendation. You take page 2 of both handouts and take the, Medica. So we have a choice. You can do, the Medica choice, which is on the, second handout that we discussed. Or you can do the third column, which is a Medica HSA. So this is really up to you guys, but the recommendation that he gave me,
Alternative option 1.
is probably one of these two, depending on if we should do an HSA, which is this one here, or if we just do the silver plan. So if you take, like I said, this first handout, which has health partners, that's what we currently have. Which is,
So we'd be switching insurances.
yes. So this is what we currently have, and our renewal is up August 1st, 2025. So this is what we currently have, and this is what it's going up to if we stick with the same thing that we have. These two columns are additional options. Your your high deductible goes up with these other options, but what he did recommend, and I'm not an insurance broker, so I can't really say
So-
what he said at these
Just-
plans.
Just if I'm reading this right, it's about $7,500 more a year to stay with our current option, which will go up.
Yeah, so I look at it.
Yeah, so you're looking at, if we stay with our current option, it's
It'll
about
go-
$500 more a month,
Yeah,
going from here to here.
it'll be the yearly charge will be 44,507. Where the option that he talked about will end up paying $36,032.
Yep.
Okay.
Another thing too is, I mean, I always hear that HSA plan is really good too, which is,
Oh, sure.
you know, on this
I don't have that.
second handout here. Looks like your deductibles are up a little bit in comparison, but you always hear that an HSA plan is nice because it's something that you have for the future too.
I think HSA plans are great. It's just, are the employees going to use them?
Well, it's not something that you use or lose, it's something that you can use in the future.
Right, but
They
are
retire.
they? So that's HSA plan is something the employees contribute into
They can, yes.
and hold on to it. The question is, should we pay for it if they're not gonna use it? I want it.
True.
I mean, we got 2 employees here, will they use it?
That's a good question. I haven't reviewed any of this.
No, it's just if you would use a health savings account. So would you put $50 in a health savings account?
Contribute money toward, and then at the end of the year, say you didn't use it, you have $1,000,
Yeah.
whatever it
It's
is.
a tax
It
write-off.
rolls over, and you never, when you use a HSA, it's not taxable, it's not tax money, so.
It's pre-taxable.
Yep, so you can use it to pay for stuff and never have the tax, your overall income drops because it pulls out of that. It doesn't technically drop, but your taxable income drops. I'm just trying to gauge whether,
Should we table this to the next meeting?
Well, we have to have it by August 1st, so.
He did say that he just needs couple weeks too, so if you guys wanna take these handles with you and review it.
Well, I would like to have the employees give us their feedback whether they actually use the HSA account. If they don't understand it,
That's one thing.
that's one of the, so we need to ask them, do they understand it and will they use it? It's great for paying for dental appointments, for eyeglasses, for things like that. And you save money.
I don't know the new guy's name, will he
But-
come out and do some explanations?
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
Yes, he will. So what we should do is we should have him come out and talk to you guys all.
July
About
7th.
that. Huh? Yeah, he can come out July 7th.
Yeah, just have them come out. Does anybody remember what the contribution limit per year on a HSA account is?
Your deductible.
Can't remember. Is it the,
And I don't know what that number is here.
we could find that out too, would be good.
Individual $4,000.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table to the
Have him come out and talk to you. I mean, eight, okay, there's a motion, it's a second.
July 7th, did that work for him?
Be timely, so they can get a decision in well before August
July
1st.
7th is your guys' next council meeting.
Yeah.
So
Does he,
if he can find a way to come out and talk to staff.
yeah, he doesn't need to come to this meeting.
Okay.
At least explain HSAs if they're not sure what they are, then at least we can have that.
And see if they use them. If
Well, table to the 7th.
nobody's gonna use it, why should we pay more for it? That's my
I'll
point.
make a motion to table it to 7th.
Well, he'll make a motion to table it until the 7th. Motion is second and further discussion. Yes, HSAs are cat's meat. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, discuss, approve, disapprove, Ellers assisting with the 2026 budget, Mr. Case.
Well, I think because Liz was so involved with the budgeting for the incorporation, this is our first, true budget going forward, that we should have Liz at that meeting on the, whatever day in July, budget meeting, July 9th meeting, and have Liz here, and she can help us run through those numbers, because I'd like to get understanding of the budget and lock down better before we have the auditor come in and, get that all straightened out.
Is that a motion?
That is my motion, that's why I put it on there.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Yes, I do. If July 9th doesn't work for her schedule, we are gonna have another budget meeting again. That we will, if that one doesn't work, then see if we can get another meeting scheduled or what. Think that is friendly?
I'll take that as friendly.
That is friendly? Al?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Okay, and then, Mr. Case had added, discuss, approve, assisting at the landfill for the search.
I got a request from the Anoka County Sheriff's Department for EMTs and other in public safety to assist in a search at the Elk River landfill. It's actually started today, I believe, or yesterday. I think it's today.
Motion to approve.
It's going forward for a couple weeks, so just to see if we have anybody available, so.
Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Excellent. Infrastructure Committee meeting tours tomorrow, June 24th, 1 PM. The bus leaves here at 1 o'clock. So be here early. City Council Road Tour is Tuesday, June 24th at 5 PM. So when we get back from that, road tour, go on the road tour. Planning Commission meeting is Wednesday, June 25th at 7 PM. Park Committee is June 26th at 7 PM. Baldwin Fire Department Pancake Breakfast is Sunday, June 29th from 8:30 AM to 12:30 PM. City Hall's closed Friday, the 24th, 2025, in observance of Independence Day. Next city council meeting is Monday, July 7th, 2025. And I will not be here at the July 7th meeting. That has already been talked about. Is there any other business? I do have one, Mr. Rupee. We had a request that didn't get on the agenda. I should have seen it. I should have put it on there, but anyway. And this is, I'll let Mr. Chris.
There's a-
talk about it, but it's a.
Dan Leck contacted me. He needed a landscape and driveway escrow agreement for a Novak Builders and Remodelers. So this is so,
Never mind. It was right here under the consent
oh,
agenda.
perfect.
We're silent. Perfect. Sweet.
Awesome.
Excellent. That makes it even better.
Easy.
That's why it wasn't so. All right, is there any other business?
Mr. Mayor, just a question on, for the attorney on the statute on the establishment of municipal liquor stores. Just want to get clarification, that subsection 4 on here. I don't know if you've seen it. Does that mean that, and this is just for
Subsection 4?
food for thought, that second sentence in subsection 4. Food for thought, does that mean that if we want to start establishing a municipal liquors?
It doesn't apply to you.
So,
Because you were, it specifically, this restriction does not apply to newly incorporated statutory city which had formerly been a town, which you guys
Right.
were, or is made up of major geographic, which the town had the powers of a statutory city under 368.01 urban town powers.
so if we wanted to start, we started the process, we could start immediately without any issues.
Exactly. We looked
And
at,
I just wanted for clarification, I wasn't looking to do that, we had heard that we were under a 2-year,
You're looking to do it.
we were under a 2-year thing, where we couldn't, but that does not apply to us, so we can.
Right.
And there are people out there asking about liquor, whether we're gonna do one. This kind of clarifies our timeline if we wanna do it.
yes, that 2-year prohibition does not apply to the city of Baldwin as you were exercising urban town powers from 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
And we have that urban town powers that was part of our incorporation.
I did not know that, so. Do we have 5?
Your screensaver?
Some guy did come in. He did? And he gave him and he asked for, okay with that, if he would. He didn't know.
Rules and regulations?
Yeah.
Yeah, after Memorial Day.
Yep.
This is sign.
I mean, I would ask you guys sign that. I have? Yeah. And then
What are we talking about on the cemetery? Somebody was complaining on neighborhood app about chipping gravestones and, about what? Taking all the flowers, all the solar lights, there's rules and regulations in there. After Memorial Day, they're taken away, and then they're, saying stuff about, there's chips on the gravestone.
Zach has more to add about that.
Yeah, I'm not very clear what you're saying.
It was on the neighborhood app.
I can give a little background. I was looking on that,
Yeah.
neighborhood,
Next door.
the next door one.
Yeah.
And there was a discussion about the mowing at the Baldwin Cemetery, and they were very upset about markers getting knocked down or mowed over, and flowers getting mowed over, and gravestones chipped. And then it was just kind of a continuing discussion, and somebody said they were gonna come in and complain here, and I let
Let me know yesterday.
the cemetery liaison know, and the staff know, so they didn't get blindsided by it, so. I just thought I'd let them know.
A lot of blowhards on there.
Oh, there's more?
That or?
Just that, I did do a walk through the cemetery, today. I found nothing of the nature that was spoke to on this complainer.
We've been maintaining the cemetery for a very long time, and all suddenly now all these things are a thing? I don't think so. I think it's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of blowhards on a app talking big that aren't ever gonna come in here. So come on in, visit us.
Did they actually come in, did anybody come in and complain?
One guy came in and Kayla gave him the rules and regulations.
Okay.
Because they keep all the stuff back there. Most
For
of,
a week or so, and I had one lady when we were out there cleaning up, come and ask for her, flowers of some kind. She was very nice and polite. We had a great interaction. I've never heard any complaints about the cemetery caretaking. It's always been positive, so it was a bit of a shock.
Again, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that it's out there. There are those that will not, they'll talk about it like that, but,
Keyboard warriors.
yeah.
Well, but the keyboard warriors get traction because other people look at it, and that's why I just wanted to head it off, so.
I wouldn't sweat it, I don't think.
Yeah, just,
Oh, I'm not. We do a good job out there. We take passion on taking care of that cemetery, and I think it shows. I'd be happy for them to bring any evidence in otherwise.
I'm sure all the residents there see it.
I do too.
Well, and how many of these people, keyboard warriors, even have a tie to that cemetery?
In the deal, it was about somebody.
Well, one person, but all the people jumping on, piling on.
Yeah, I don't know.
As a person that has like 30 relatives in there, I have zero complaints about the cemetery.
I don't have any relatives, but I got friends.
Speak with some authority.
yeah, it was on neighborhood app, so I don't go on there, but Scott just let me know.
Medica, my health partner, everyone, I'm trying to figure out which is the best, I just,
You blew everybody off.
Kathy in my office just basically.
We clean up after ourselves, yes.
Insurance, person and she, that's what she does. Don't change much.
I think it just.
Sam, you're golden to go.
Word of mouth.
You're more than welcome to stay, I mean, I appreciate it, holy
I've been dealing with them like a couple of them.
Yeah. I suppose if it's just signatures.
Oh, the soil borings, are you good with that? Can you run with that? Cause he's
Yeah, so.
It changes.
he's kinda, here, let's,
It changes from time to time, but Medica is.
Resources into.
Yeah, we're with Medica.
I got Medica, and I'm not,
They cover a lot
I'm
of
happy
the
with them,
routine
they're fine.
descriptions and stuff, as part of preventive maintenance. We do have a health savings account with that, with part of that policy, and we fund it for everybody.
I think personally, I would prefer kind of, an agency, because I think that's nice for the.
Well, and it does, because historically, I haven't used it all, and it does roll over into the next year.
I mean, even if, it's a tax,
money.
it's a tax benefit.
You typically can save 25% on taxes there if you do it.
And if you don't use it, you can use it for the things that you have to, any medical expense. Eyeglasses, dental, whatever.
Basic surgery,
Basic
sunglasses.
surgery, yes.
I used it for LASIK surgery once.
Get your pair of Oakleys with it.
Chiropractor.
How about massage parlor?
Massage parlor.
Has to have parlor. in
Gender
the name, that's what they
reassignment.
said on NPX.
I think I'll leave that one alone. I'm just saying.
Alice.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I don't think we're gonna be changing that name anytime soon.
Jay, have a great vacation.
Don't get too far, thank you. Thank you.
Where are you going, Jay?
North. You know where I'll be.
Jenkins.
You gonna be in Nevis?
Nope. Jenkins, Pequot Lakes, basically.
Where at around there?
At the, Wild Wedge Campground, right by the A-Pine.
Oh, so you're gonna be mini golfing every day.
Mini golfing and
Then you're gonna go over to the A-Pine and have
the
breakfast?
A-Pine, they have fantastic
You
breakfast.
gonna go up to the liquor store in Jenkins?
See if, Bucky and Leah still own it. I was engaged to Leah's sister
You were?
40 years ago.
Which place?
A-Pine.
A-Pine? Go get yourself a movie there, right behind there.
They should have known that, though.
Bucky and Leah owned it.
Oh, I don't know.
Good night, everyone.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Who's interested?
Thank you, guys.
Do you think the movie theater shut down there?
No, the big movie theater. No, that's still open.
That's still open,
Yeah,
on
last-
16?
Yeah. Right, A-Pine, 371 at A-Pine.
Well, maybe we can meet down at, the old
Commander.
Milwaukee, the Commander, I worked there, did you know that? Did you know that? 30 years ago, I started at the Commander. Picture that. 30 years ago.
You don't look like you aged a day.
14, going on 15, washing dishes the first summer. But what a beautiful job that was.
Where was that?
College girls working the summer
Oh, yeah.
to make money that from the cities
Oh,
up there.
yeah, that's nice.
It was great.
Where was that at, Jeff?
Greasy Point at Commander Bar, I worked there. And then here's a really funny thing. When I went to work for Hagee's doing route sales, they gave me a northern route, JJ's Pub, which is a part of the Commander. So it was like, okay, full circle, same owner, you know, whatever. And then we were friends with him before he ever bought the bar up there, family was. So the JJ's wasn't open when I'd come in there during the day or whatever on a weekday, and he'd come down and reminisce about the old days, breezy. And then when I switched to driving truck, Dave Pearson, he's like, oh, I want you to do Moffett work. And he had all these accounts with ABC Supply. So the first Moffett job I did, I went and grabbed a load out of the store in Savage. And where was it going? To Breezy Point Resort. And it was going to the old timeshare building out on County Road 11, where the hockey arena is. That was my first Moffett job, was delivering to that building, Breezy Point, which back in 1995, the owner's son, Dave Spizo, Breezy Point, he's a general manager now. His dad, Bob, owns White Birch Incorporated that owns Breezy Point Resort. They were using that building as a place to get rid of mattresses.
Check for Lester there.
And in the one corner of the building, Dave was running a telemarketing business and had two high school buddies. He just graduated in '95 from Pequot. He had two buddies in there. It was like the boiler room or something going on. I mean, I don't know what they were
All
selling.
right, I need a motion to approve bills for payment.
Check number 28654 to 28687 for $58,608.89. 5 EFT payments for $6,195.29 for a total of $64,804.18.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign.
Motion adjourned.
Motion carries. Motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? No. No further discussion, any motion, or, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries, we are adjourned at 9:09.
I'm there with Dave, and Dave says, this is 1995 goes, I'm trying to talk my dad into building an ice arena here on this property, and